The best returns and best buys around Australia by price bracket. Now, I have searched and scoured every part of Australia to bring you the best returns you can buy in your price bracket. My name is Helen Tarrant. I help everyday Australians become wealthy through investing in commercial property. So, a company, a unicorn commercial property, does education, buyers agency, syndication, and uplift deals to help you go the next level. So if you're interested in any of those, click the link below and book in for that strategy call. But here, because we're a specialist buyers agent just specialized in commercial property, we will and deal in commercial property every single day at the forefront. So I can tell you what our buyers are looking for, what we're searching every single day with our whole specialist team, and what we're finding in each of the price brackets that is the best buys for you right now in this current market. So let's go. Now, under $1 million. So if you have a budget, and this might be anywhere from having a $200,000 to $400,000 in deposit, whether that's outside or inside your superannuation, you are going to be buying somewhere around that $800,000 to $1 million mark in your first commercial purchase, or it might be your second or third. Regardless, what you want to do is the best bang for your buck, and what you're doing and looking for in that $1 million range is where you can get the maximum value. That's not only just in cash flow. So if you're chasing pure cash flow and you want 7, 8, 9%, and you're going to regional towns like an Emerald or Mount Isa, that's not going to work, right? Because of the high risk level, right? But if you are actually sensible and you want something that has a mixture of balance of growth and cash flow, and you just want to know the best value for money, you've got to go somewhere where there's no stamp duty, because stamp duty actually eats a lot of your cash. Somewhere between $50,000 to $70,000 it takes away from your purchasing power. Now, just imagine to be able to go an extra $50,000 or $70,000 more could mean more returns in your pocket and more capital growth compounded over a 3 to 4 year period. So where there's no stamp duty, it is South Australia and ACT. Those two areas are gold mines for under $1 million, because you are getting more bang for your buck, so likely to get a better property, better tenants, and better yields, right? So in areas like this, typically it's a shop front, an office space, and you might get a little warehouse, but really it's a shop front or an office space that you're buying, and the averaging yield is somewhere around that 6% mark. That is in metro. If you're going to regional areas such as your slightly mining towns, or you're going to a large regional areas, you're probably going to be hitting that 7%. But remember, if you go out of South Australia or ACT, you are likely to pay stamp duty. So instead of being to buy $1 million or 1.1, you're buying 900 with the same amount of deposit, right? So what about $2 million brackets? $2 million brackets. Now, most people think, oh, at $2 million, I get a freestanding property. You're wrong, right? Don't even think about it, because the reason for that is at $2 million, you start to think and fancy that, oh, you're going to get a vet, a medical center. You are going to go to a metro or fringe metro area, get really great yields. No. Best value for money, a strata property. Now, I know you won't like it. You're going to go, oh, I don't want a strata. I want land. I want to be able to have in a metro. I'm buying $2 million. Commercial, $2 million isn't as much as you think it is in residential. So $2 million, your best buy is a strata property. Why? Because you get the best kind of yields at this moment, because the market is saying, I want freestanding if I'm buying a $2 million property. But guess what? If you can go against the market, that's where you're going to get the best value. That is buying a strata property, and that might be strata retail, office, or warehouse properties, and you're going to get higher yields. Typically, you're getting above the market anywhere from 0.5% to 0.75%. So you're buying office space, you're getting close to 7% yield in a metro area. Why not? If you're buying freestanding for $2 million, as in a freestanding building, you're actually going to get below market 0.5% or more. So in essence, to buy a strata, you're actually making 1% more than the market does versus buying in a freestanding property, right? So that's why a $2 million range all around Australia, you have lots of options, but you need to buy a strata property. What about 3 mils? What about 3 mils? 3 mil best buys are in regional freestanding properties. Why? Because 3 mil is a very, very competitive market in the metro area. In the metro area, people in 3 mil definitely want to buy freestanding, so they're competing for good quality freestanding with good tenants on long leases, right? They're buying medical centers, they're buying childcare, they're buying freestanding buildings with multiple tenants, they're buying something that has land with developable potential. That is a hot, hot market now. in regional, your buying power is so much stronger. In fact, it's like 50% stronger. So you're likely to get the same tenant you will get in metro, in regional, plus you get your returns, your cash flow yield. So in essence, it's a double win for you. So if you got 3 mil, I would go regional. What about 4? What if you have 4 million? Can't you have your pick of the market? Well, do you want a really great medical, allied health, or a brand name tenant that's on a long lease with a good yield? Of course you do. Well, if you do, you've got to go back to strata, but this time you're doing something different. You're not just buying a little strata shop front, you're buying a whole floor. You're buying a whole floor, a large area that you wouldn't be able to get if you bought freestanding in the city. Now, why is that? If you bought a medical center that is in a strata retail property, whether it's in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, you're likely to get somewhere between 400 to 600 square meters for that $4 million. If you were to buy the same $4 million in even a fringe area, or even if it's in a metro area, you're likely to get somewhere about half that. Maybe 300, maybe 400 square meters at most, sometimes even 250. So you actually get less lettable area. Yes, the rent's gonna be higher in that lettable area for freestanding versus the rent you get in the strata. But think about it. Buying a large strata space means in the future you could divide it into multiple small ones. Buying a whole floor, whereas rented out to specialist tenants, that means you've got stability as well as returns. What kind of returns? You could be expecting in the 7s to 8% in metro areas if you're buying a whole floor strata at around that $4 million mark. And why wouldn't you? That's getting instant cash flow, waiting for the market to change, waiting for people to actually want to come back to strata or repurpose that strata in the future as a value add and creating an additional capital growth in your property. Why not, right? What about $5 million? What would you buy with $5 million right now? Well, if my clients had $5 million to invest, I typically would advise for them to go to fringe metro areas to get freestanding buildings. Now, we've seen them somewhere around the fringe areas of Melbourne, fringe areas of Brisbane. Now, these might be industrial properties on land, or it could be freestanding building with really good quality tenants that's fit for purpose for that area. So it could be a trade tenant, like in an office space. It could be a design, like an architecture firm. It could be even a marketing firm. These kind of properties work really, really well in fringe areas or areas that hasn't quite gentrified. This $5 million gets you some really good value proposition that you get both the capital growth in the future to come, plus a really decent yield at the moment to allow you not only to break even on your interest repayments, but also for you to get some cash flow as well. So really, really good value for money in that 5 mil range. In fact, 5 mil range at the moment is where you see some of the best values in the market for properties right now, whether it's industrial or retail or freestanding building, whatever it is, right? Well, what about 5 mil plus? What if you had $2, $3, $4, or $5 million cash or deposit to invest, and you're looking at anything from 7, 10, 12 million? What should you be buying? Now, here is the key. If you're in that range where you're looking at that 7 mil plus or 5, 7 mil, 8 mil plus, you should be buying shopping strips, shopping centers, little ones that you can actually rechange the tenant mix. You now want to add in value add, right? Because all of a sudden the competition is less at that 7 mil level. However, you gotta be smart with your ideas and your strategies, and this is why you need to subscribe to my channel, because this is what my channel is all about. That commercial property, but savvy commercial property investors come to Unicorn Commercial Property and they build their portfolios with us. So booking for that strategy session, come to our upcoming event, but make sure you hit the subscribe and hit the bell so that you can be notified of the next video. But let's get back to it. So shopping centers, what are we looking for in shopping centers? Underperforming shopping centers. Maybe the previous owners are old and haven't done anything with the property. Maybe it's a little bit run down. Maybe the rents are not correct. Month-to-month leases. You could uplift that. Right? You could uplift that, change the tenants. You want to be able to have something that you don't have to work full time, but something you can work on periodically for 12 to 24 months to uplift that. That could be $1 million of built-in equity there for you. And you could capture that by buying that shopping strips or shopping centers. That will give you long-term generational wealth asset that you could develop and pass on to your children. That's where you need to think. Now, what about 10 mil plus? Well, 10 mil plus is where you come back to metro areas and you're buying key locations. Recently, I saw one in Sydney at $14 million in Chippendale. It's rented out to quantum computers, so they're really latest technology, but it's a tenant that's done like a $5 million fit out. This is the quality of tenant you want. You're choosing your location, you're choosing your tenant, you're getting above market yields, and you've got the future capital gains of that area because there's no more land to be able to build around you. There's nothing to be able to be repurposed, right? So you're it, right? And over time, that rent's only go up, and you're gonna see your growth and your yields exponentially go up. That's why the richer becomes richer, the poorer becomes poorer. So investing in commercial property is about strategy. Final tip, if you want that strategy, have your A team behind you. Build yourself A team with a strategist, someone who helps you as a buyer's agent, someone you can troubleshoot, but mostly you need someone to be able to help you in case you get into strife. And that's what Unicorn Commercial Property does, is we help our clients after the sale. We're there to help you through changing tenants. We're there to help you through renegotiating a lease. We're helping you to get your yields right, and also help you to purposely set up the sale so that you get a good sale so that you can buy again and go the next level up. And that is why you want to choose us versus anybody else to help you in your wealth creation journey. So on that note, leave me a comment below. Tell me what you loved about the video, what you want to know more of, and I'll see you in the